Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the Military and Surplus channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the dangers of gas masks and their filters. So this video might be fairly longer than normal as I have plenty of things to go through, so let's get to the video. As you know, many masks and filters can be a danger to human life. So some of these dangers include a false sense of security, asbestos/chromium in the filters, and filter plugs still in the filter while it's being worn or used. So these dangers can be fatal and can cause some disease in the future, like asbestosis or mesothelioma if you're talking about asbestos. Basically nasty forms of cancer. So the first danger we'll be talking about is a false sense of security with the filters or the mask. So this can be purely human error. So this means the wearer of the mask would be protected from one thing, say CS gas, which these GP5 filters might still protect from normal gases, but I would never use one in an actual situation that required my life, so yeah. So the person would think, this is protecting me from CS gas, tear gas, stuff like that, but the person would then think the protect would protect against very harmful chemicals like phosgene or nerve agents, for example. This danger can be especially scary if the wearer of the mask hasn't researched anything about the filters and what they protect from. So as a rule of thumb, you should always, and I mean always, research the filters you need or are using if you're buying them for serious protection from dangerous vapours and gases. So researching, as I said, should be a number one priority if you're buying filters for legitimate protection, as this one mistake of being lazy can cost you your life. So if you're looking for filters for protection against dust and tear gas, you just need some sealed filters that are from any mask. Let me rephrase that. So if you want some just to save you from the effects of dust or tear gas or hay fever or pollen or stuff like that, pretty much, you just need filters that come sealed, so like this as an example, fully sealed, but they don't have to be in date, because the military surplus filters, which are probably the best for these, the safe ones obviously, will be considerably cheaper, and you won't have to buy new filters every time. You just have to buy ones that are sealed and fairly in date, like not like 60 years out of date, as they probably wouldn't work at all. But all you need for like dust and that, anything from like a GP5 up to a more modernised S10 mask, which I would prefer, as it's a lot comfier and has better breathability, if that's a word. But if you're wanting serious protection against things, you can buy a military surplus mask, but you do need to buy in-date sealed filters. So like the Scott Pro filters, the big chunky ones, they would have to be in-date. And if you're wanting them for asbestos and vapours, you'd probably want P3 or P100 filters, depending on where you're from. But if you're wanting protection against like chlorine gas or some other scary weapon like that, you'd want NBC/CBRN certified filters, which would be very hard to come by that are in date and probably quite expensive. Sorry, my hay fever is quite bad today as well, so excuse me if I sniff or sneeze. So the second danger, we'll be taking a look at asbestos and chromium. So just off the bat, I do have to say I don't have any filters that I believe have chromium in them. But filters that basically are chromium was the USM 60 filters, I believe. And the Serbian M1s, basically chromium is where you have to wear the mask every day for 30 years straight to like increase your chances by like 1%. So the reason asbestos is a danger to human life is because if one of these filters broke down, just move this out of the way, if these filters are breaking down, which most likely they are, depending on how old they are, the asbestos fibres can leak through the particulate filter. This here, don't know if you can see this paper mache here is where the asbestos is stored, woven into. This is generally why if I'm not using the filters on a mask for prop, I generally have them fully sealed like this. But the asbestos, like I said, is located in here, and there has been rumours that it's located in the charcoal filter section. The charcoal section, but I don't believe this personally, but I still wouldn't use these filters anyway. But the asbestos can, if you're breathing in for a certain amount of time, travel through the charcoal layer and go into the mask. Oops, sorry about that. I do have to say, this is cotton. This is not asbestos, as far as I'm aware. So, that's something that's good, I guess. But if you do see black specks coming through the filter, it means you probably shouldn't be using it, as it's leaking, and that means, obviously, asbestos could be leaking through it. So, if you breathe the filter and get asbestos in your lungs, big or small quantities of it, it can lead to very aggressive cancers like mesothelioma, I think it's pronounced, or in very, very, very tiny amounts it can cause asthma and shortness of breath. Either way, it's not good for your life. If you're very worried about having asbestos in or on your lungs, you can get a chest x-ray from the hospital. Obviously, just wait till this whole virus has ended. So while the chromium filter is dangerous, like I've said, you would have to wear the filter every day for, I'm pretty sure it was like 30 years straight, just to get a 1% increase in your cancer rates. So although that isn't much of an increase, I still wouldn't rather have a 1% increase in my cancer rates. I'd rather have a 0% rate of having it, so, you know. Although there isn't as much danger to it, I still wouldn't trust old filters in general, because leaking charcoal and even cotton in your lungs and filter medians would be very bad for your health to get them on your lungs. So if you want to dispose of these asbestos filters, you have to fully seal them up if they came with the plug and the cap. Double or more layers if you want. Wrap them in black bags like that one over there. Double wrap that. Or triple or quadruple if you really want. Then you have to call the council to take it away by Specialist Waste Management or the council. So these filters are just fine to have laying around. Obviously, I don't want to leave them fully exposed like this. This is the one that generally goes on my 70M. I generally leave them like this, fully sealed up, so if anything does escape, it can't, because it's sealed. So the last danger we'll be looking at is... not to jump the gun actually. These filters can be dangerous if they're designated L12A1. I'm not sure what's in them, but it's either asbestos or chromium. I'm not sure where it would say it. I believe it was on the foil packet. I didn't have a foil packet which mine came in, so I'm generally quite careful of this filter, but my mask is 1992 and that's quite recent, so I do trust that filter, but like I said, just be careful because you can never be too safe. So the last danger is probably the most scariest danger, to be honest, and the most common danger that people suffer from is leaving the filter plug in while wearing the mask. This is the most dangerous thing that you can do if the filter is plugged up, because if you put it on the mask, this mask, like the GP5, is fully airtight. It's basically just a hood that goes over your head, and if you screw this top cap off and put it onto the thing with the filter plug still in it, how's the oxygen going to get in exactly, unless you have like a breach of seal on the mask, which again will be life-threatening because it doesn't make a fully airtight thing, but this can lead to asphyxiation and death if you start panicking, because when you start panicking, you start breathing faster and heavier, which means you'll be drawing the mask closer and closer and tighter to your face, which when by the end of it you're trying to pull it off will be virtually impossible because of the sheer amount of pressure between you and the actual mask. So this can be easily done if you were in a situation where you needed a respirator but you want the filter to be brand new, but you could easily forget about the plug and unfortunately perish from the lack of oxygen getting to you. This is why you should have always an opened filter and a sealed one in a satchel or bag for use in a proper emergency environment. So if you don't want to use the filter plugs, you can always tape it to the bottom. The early variants of this one, I'll just pull the sock off, actually had it like with a string on the bottom so you couldn't lose it, the plug on the top, which was quite a good idea in my opinion. So you can't lose it, or you can always put it in the side, a pouch of the bag even, just for safekeeping. In my genuine, emergency bag, which I do have one, I have the, the GSR bag, because it's very spacious and quite durable. Then I have a S10 in it, this one here, but I've just put the radio on it at the minute because it looks pretty cool. Then I have a sealed filter somewhere, which I believe's in my collection, but I can't find it in a minute, so I'm not being very smart there, am I, if anything does happen. But I must buy a new sealed filter. Maybe an in-date one. Hopefully an in-date one, to be honest, but yeah. I always keep this in here as well, as just like, if anything like dust or anything, because I believe particle filters don't really expire, and dust is only a fairly large particulate, so that would still work. So everybody, that was my video on the dangers of respirators and gas masks. If you would like to see a part 2 of this video, comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheerio!